All right, listen up, y'all.
Greetings, everybody. This is another episode of All Things Education Official. I'm your host and educator, DrAbdullah, giving you educational news and content from a foundational Black American man's perspective. If you like what you're seeing, like what you're hearing, please subscribe, comment, like, and share. Subscribe, comment, like, and share. Today, we're going to talk about Black students and zero tolerance policy.
Sometimes the results are shocking. But the less visible effect is that schools are feeding the racial disparities in the criminal justice system. Consider the fact that schools are more likely to have an officer on their campus if the student population is more than 50% Black. You might assume that that's because there's more crime at these schools, but although students at police schools are more likely to be arrested, they're not actually more likely to be charged in court for weapons, drugs, alcohol, or assault, at least according to one study. During the 2010-2011 school year, 1 in 6 public school students in the U.S. were Black, but they accounted for 1 in 3 arrests at school. Same goes for other forms of school discipline. Black students are suspended or expelled 3 times more frequently than white students. It actually begins in preschool. 18% of preschoolers are Black, but of all preschoolers suspended more than once, 48% are Black. Studies show that differences in behavior can't fully account for these disparities. Black students and white students are sent to the principal's office at similar rates, but Black students are more likely to end up with a serious punishment. One study found that white students are more likely to be suspended for provable offenses like smoking or vandalism. Black students are more likely to be suspended for subjective offenses like talking back or insubordination.
All right. According to the University of Florida Journal of Law and Public Policy, their article, Learning While Black, How Zero Tolerance Policies Disproportionately Affect Black Students, by Sidney Ford, the data shows that due to subjective nature of zero tolerance policies, they are disproportionately applied to Black youth. Black students are consistently suspended at rates 2 to 3 times higher than those of other students. In the year 2000, Black students represented only 17% of the student population, yet constituted 34% of the population of students suspended from school. Black students are also more likely to be disciplined through harsher forms of punishment like suspension or expulsion than white students. Even if Black students' infractions are less serious or more subjective. Some may say that this just means that Black youths are acting out more, but when you look at the data, the disparity in discipline is due to the subjective application of zero tolerance policies. There is no evidence that Black youth receive more suspensions due to increased rates of or intensity of misbehavior. The color of discipline study from the 2002 study shows that white students were referred more than Black students for more objective offenses, such as smoking and vandalism, while Black students were referred more than white students for more subjective offenses, such as disrespect or loitering. It seems to me that these student referrals are steeped in a desire to teach young children, specifically young Black children, to know their place and be respectful while ignoring actual offenses of their white counterparts. Research shows that Black youths are more likely to be monitored, scrutinized, suspected, and then sanctioned for the same infractions as white students by school safety, teachers, and administrators. Because implicit bias can seep into the minds of teachers and administrators, zero tolerance policies can be applied based on these bases. For example, cultural mismatches between school personnel and students can show just how implicit these biases can lead to disproportionate application of zero tolerance policies. Black students with same race teachers were rated as less disruptive compared to those with different race teachers, and Black students taught by Black teachers were suspended less often. I had to put a little emphasis on that because we knew that to be true before you even heard it. As always, a dominant society shows us through documented evidence and proof that the only way that Black students will ever have a fair shot in the educational realm or equal footing is to have separate educational spaces with Black American educators, administrators, and staff. We can begin by forming communities and alliances with Black teachers, develop advocacy groups, curriculums, and independent schools. It will take work, and it will not be beautiful in the beginning, but the most important thing, as said by the great O'Shea Duke Jackson, is it will be ours. If you need some further resources, please check my comments and my About section. Once again, This is Dr. Abdullah with All Things Education Official, giving you educational news from a foundational Black American mass perspective. If you like what you're seeing, like what you're hearing, please subscribe, comment, like, and share. Tell me what you think. Is this par for the course? I always ask that question. Do you think this is something that we're going to deal with forever? I think so, until we begin to build, maintain, fund our own institutions. With that, you are dismissed.
Yeah! You are all expurgated. You are dismissed.